Tonight's topic is called the AI economy, responsibility in a world of clarity. And I want to start with something simple. AI is not just changing what we can do. AI is changing what we can no longer pretend not to see. That's the shift. For decades, we lived in a world where information was scarce. Then the internet arrived, and information exploded. We could search anything, email anyone, publish anything. Information became visible, but decisions were still messy. Judgment was still human. Trade offs were still hidden in meetings and intuition. Now AI enters the picture, and AI doesn't just give us more information, AI structures choices. It lays out scenarios, it shows risks, it maps consequences. And when clarity increases, responsibility increases. That's what we're talking about tonight. Not hype, not job loss, not automation fear, responsibility, leadership, trust. And what happens when ambiguity fades? My name is Ilya Lamin, and here we explore the AI economy. Not just the tools, not just productivity, but what changes in work, what changes in psychology, what changes in power, what changes in us. So tonight is not about technology, it's about what technology reveals. If you're new here, let me recap the model quickly. The internet automated the coordination of information. It connected documents, people, messages, websites. It made information flow, but humans still had to interpret. We still had to prioritize. We still had to decide. AI does something different. AI automates the coordination of decisions. It organizes judgment. It doesn't just move information, it synthesizes it. It compares scenarios. It highlights trade offs. It reduces cognitive overload. So instead of drowning in data, we're confronted with structured options. And that changes everything. Because once options are visible, you must choose. You see, let's talk about something uncomfortable here. Ambiguity protects us. When something is unclear, we can delay, we can debate, we can diffuse responsibility, we can say something like, it's complicated. And sometimes it is complicated. But ambiguity also gives us space to avoid ownership. Think about workplaces. How many times have you seen decisions delayed because nobody wanted to own the risk? Or a meeting that end with let's revisit this next week. Ambiguity stretches time. It spreads responsibility. It reduces personal exposure. AI reduces ambiguity. It doesn't eliminate uncertainty, but it structures it. And that structure removes hiding places. Let's just illustrate the whole thing. Let me give you a story. Imagine a company preparing to launch a product. There's pressure. The marketing team wants speed. The legal team wants caution. The engineering team says, we need 2 more weeks. Now, pre-AI world, there are spreadsheets, emails, meeting, arguments, no clear model of consequences. The CEO says, we'll make the best call we can. And if it fails, everyone blames the complexity, so to speak. Now imagine the same situation in an AI structured environment. The AI maps everything. Now, launch now will be projected risk X, cost Y. Delay 2 weeks will be projected revenue shifts to Z, or something like that. Suddenly, the trade-off is visible. Now the CEO must say, we choose speed or we choose safety. The decision becomes explicit. The responsibility becomes personal. That's the shift. This shift creates emotional resistance because clarity increases pressure. Let's be honest. When things are messy, we feel less exposed. When things are clear, we feel seen. AI doesn't judge, but it structures the situation so clearly that we feel judged. Because now our priorities are visible. If you choose profit over safety, it's clear. If you choose speed over quality, it's clear. If you choose short-term gains over long-term stability, well, it's clear. And once it's clear, you can hide behind confusion. That's uncomfortable, especially for leaders who build authority on intuition, because now intuition competes with structured analysis. Let me ask you something else. Would you feel more comfortable making a decision in a fog or making a decision under bright lights? Most people say they want clarity, but clarity increases accountability. That's the paradox. You see, many people think AI reduces responsibility because the machine suggested. But that's not how it works. AI concentrates responsibility because it makes reasoning visible. If you ignore a clearly mapped risk, that's visible. If you override a strong recommendation, that's visible. If you follow a weak recommendation blindly, well, guess what? That's visible. In the internet era, responsibility was diffuse. In the AI era, responsibility becomes traceable, and traceability changes behavior. Now, let's illustrate again. Let's get another story. Let's look at hiring. Pre-AI, a manager interviews candidates. They say, I have a good feeling, or she seems like a culture fit. If the hire fails, it's explained as kind of bad luck. Now AI compares skills, past performances data, role requirements, team composition. It shows probability of success. It's not perfect, but it's probability. Now the manager sees candidate A, 82% fit. Candidate B, 64% fit. But the manager prefers candidate B. Now they must justify it. They must say, I value potential over experience, or I value chemistry over metrics. Now the value are visible. That's powerful. AI doesn't choose, it reveals. And revelation increases responsibility. You see, leadership changes deeply. In the past, leaders gained power through access to information, experience, authority, confidence. Now, information is democratized. AI analysis is accessible. So, what differentiates leaders? Not knowing more, but choosing well, explaining clearly, owning outcomes. Leadership becomes moral clarity, not data control. Because AI can analyze, but only humans can define values. And that's the new scarcity. Values under clarity. You see, trust becomes central here. People won't trust someone who says, well, the AI made me do it. They'll trust someone who says, I reviewed the options, I understand the risks, and I'm choosing this. Trust moves from competence to ownership because competence becomes augmented. ownership remains human. In the AI economy, the most trusted people will be those who use AI transparently, explain trade-offs, admit uncertainty, and stand by the decisions. Okay, let's just illustrate again another thing. Imagine a doctor with AI support. We're in the medical field, healthcare. The AI should suggest treatment A, which has 78% of success, and treatment B have 65% success but lower side effects. The patient asks, what should I do? The doctor cannot say, the AI says, to take option A. The doctor must say, here's what the AI shows. Here's what matters. Here's what I recommend. The AI organizes judgment, but the human carries responsibility. That's the new model. Now, here's the hopeful part. This is actually good news, because clarity rewards integrity. In a foggy system, manipulators thrive. In a structured system, consistency matters. Values matters. Character matters. AI may increase pressure, but it also increases fairness, because decisions become explainable, basically. So, what should you do? 1. Never hide behind AI. 2. State trade-offs clearly. 3. Own your priorities. 4. Use AI to reduce noise. 5. Practice decision-making as a skill. Because in the AI economy, decision quality becomes your leverage. Now, let's close with this. The internet taught us to live with information overload. The AI era will teach us to live with decision visibility. The fog is lifting, and when the fog lifts, responsibility becomes visible, leadership becomes tested, trust becomes earned. AI doesn't remove humans, it removes excuses. And in the world, the most powerful things you can do is choose clearly and own it. Thanks for being here. If this resonates, please leave a like. If you have questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. Subscribe as usually. I'll see you in the next one, because this is the beginning of the AI economy conversation.